Yeah, Ryan, just sort of give us your thoughts on getting ready to coach your very first game as the man.
Geez, there's a ton of thoughts right now. I'm just focused on the game plan and trying to help out where I can, offensively and defensively, special teams. But really just excited for our guys that have really put in the work to be able to reach this point and be ready to go play a game. I'm excited to see them play against another opponent instead of hitting each other every day in practice. And I know they're excited to get out in front of the fans at Ross Aid and showcase what we've been working on.
What do you think you learned the most about your team in camp?
I think I think we've established ourselves from an identity standpoint in all three phases.
Talk about Hudson Cards. Sort of give everybody an idea.
He has played in practice through spring ball and through fall camp. You see a guy that's extremely accurate with the big arm that gets the ball out quickly and throws a nice catchable tight spiral. A guy that's athletic and can extend plays and make you miss on the ground. But I think what's most important and most impressive from my vantage point is just his poise. He's got a calm confidence to him, understands the scheme and can get the ball out quickly and go through his reads on time. He's a great quarterback. He's one of the best I've been around, in person, and I'm excited to see him play this fall.
Just the importance. You always want to win every game, I know, but this opener, you got 4 or 5 games in September at home, renovated roster. Just the importance of trying to get off on a good start in week 1 of the season.
Yeah, I think you obviously you want to start fast and you don't want to ease into the season. Our schedule doesn't really allow for that anyway, and we have set up summer workouts and set up the way we've practiced this fall to be able to hit the ground running. And so it's important to get off to a good start, to build confidence and build camaraderie and chemistry with a group of guys that is a veteran group, but hadn't had a whole lot of experience playing with each other.
Ryan, just there's no easing into the season, and with your schedule you just mentioned, but Fresno State won, I think, their last 9 games last year. They've got an experienced quarterback. What are the challenges of, going into this and knowing we're going to be tested from the opening snap?
Yeah, I think it speaks volumes to the culture that Coach Tedford has created there and really has created his whole profession or his whole career in his profession. To start 1-4 and to win 10 games in a conference championship and end it on a 9-game win streak tells you how tough they are, how together they are in that building, and so it'll be a challenge, but it'll be a challenge every week. Anytime you put pads on and put the ball down and go kick off, anything can happen on any given Saturday, and so we got to be prepared and handle adversity when it comes because that is guaranteed. And ultimately just to do our jobs and have faith in each other and confidence in the plan and go play.
Were you optimistic that Garrett and Gus were going to be able to play this first game? I mean, I don't see them on the depth chart, but I know you've been easing them into it.
Yeah, no, that was the plan from a rehab standpoint, from the start.
And then last thing, Dylan Thieneman is a freshman. Looks like he's going to start. What has he shown you that just he came in here and basically made a name for himself right away?
Yeah, I mean he's earned his position on the depth chart and on the roster. He's got tremendous speed. I think he's like the second fastest kid we got on the team. And you look at him as a freshman, but he's 6 foot and some change. He's 205 pounds. He's really muscular and has done a great job with Coach Rowe and the strength staff. And he understands what we're trying to do schematically, and he's got no fear. And I think because of that, he's earned the respect of the guys in the locker room and has really impressed the staff, and he's earned the right to be a starter.
Nick Scorton's been a guy that's kind of been a breakout guy.
Who is the fastest kid on the team?
Deion Burks.
Has it close?
Yeah, they go back and forth. They would race all the time, in the summertime, but he's a little bit faster. He's a freak. I'm excited to watch him play this season.
About expectations and just what you only get one of these first games. So
here, and so I'm just excited to get this first one under our belt.
How has it been as your first time as a head coach actually preparing for a game, as opposed to a coordinator?
Yeah, it's been different. Obviously, you're looking at different phases. You're allowing members of your staff that you've hired to do their job and interject where you see fit, and really, setting up practice and having a pulse on what the team needs to do more of or do less of, and then how you can have that balancing act of preparing, but also making sure that we're fresh going into game day. Those are all things that I'm learning and will continue to learn.
You have a lot of different receivers, different options there after the departure of Charlie Jones last season. Do you think you'll maybe look outside the receiver room for targets? You have a former receiver in the running back room. Once Gary Miller comes back, you'll have a great tight end. What do you think the dispersion there might be?
Yeah, I think we've got guys that we're really confident in. I know Graham likes to spread the ball around. You look at what he did at USC, and I think he had like 4 receivers that all went for close to 1,000 yards in one season. So I think we won't be as centric on one individual as they were here a year ago. We've got capable guys that are comfortable with the scheme, and the scheme allows for the ball to be spread around. So we'll get our playmakers the ball in space and let them go to work.
And then do you have any burning questions that you wanted to get answered this week?
No.
Any other questions? Go back to Sam.
Have you made any decisions on who may redshirt so far?
No, not. You get 4 games to try to figure it out. And my philosophy is, the best teacher, in my opinion, is experience. And so if guys are capable of helping us out on game day, regardless of age, then they're going to play. And we're not going to waste an opportunity to get experience and help us win. So that we'll make those decisions as the season unfolds and who's available and who's ready.
You mentioned them a second ago, but just how impressed are you with some of the guys that you brought in to make up your staff?
The staff you're talking, I've really been impressed with everyone to a man. We were thorough in the process of figuring out and identifying who we wanted to bring in the building, not only from a positional expertise, but just the type of guys we wanted to bring in, the type of personalities. And so I've been really impressed with the chemistry we have in the staff, with the knowledge that they have in the staff, and with the way that they've interacted with and mentored our players.
We saw you guys come out of Tiller Tunnel the other day for the mock game. Have you visualized what it's going to look like and feel like with Ross 8 full?
Just briefly, there's so much to get done on a daily basis. There's not a whole lot of time for daydreaming. But every time I do, I do get goosebumps, and you try to put yourself in those moments so they don't surprise you. But I don't think there's going to be anything I can do from a mental standpoint to capture what that moment is going to feel like when it comes in real time.
Do you know what the official capacity is of Ross Aid? They're not saying it. Do you know the number?
I don't know the number. I think there's some people in this room that might know the number, but I do not know that number.
And why not? Does that fall outside of your realm of it doesn't really matter?
I haven't asked. I'm sure if I asked, they'd share that information.
You think you got to hook up? You think someone would?
I think so. I'm sure we'll all find out here shortly.
So no burning questions you want answered this week. Why not? I would think you would say something like, "Well, I'd like to see which receiver step forward," or whatever. Is that because you think you know what you have?
Yeah, I watch every rep at practice. I watch every rep of individual drills. I think I've got a pretty good pulse on who our guys are and what our team's about. So no real questions. I think I've got things that I want confirmed, but I don't think I'm trying to find anything new out. I don't think I'll get any new information. I think that's just the way that most coaches are, to be thorough, to learn, and to be able to teach.
How How long does that take if a practice is 2 hours to go back and watch that film? What's that process like?
Man, it varies. It depends on how good a practice it was. But it takes what it takes.
And then last question, you seem off. I haven't watched you in practice or a game. None of us really have that much in games. Are you this way? You don't seem very fiery here. What are you going to be like? What are we going to see?
Yeah.
Do you know what we're going to see? Do you know?
I mean, we're not competing right now, so that's why I'm not. It's not 4th and 1 all the time. You know what I mean? But if we were playing Monopoly, yeah, I would try to kick your butt. You know what I mean? But on game days, like I do try to be calm. I think as a leader, you don't want to ride the ebbs and flows of momentum swings and adversity. I think when you're calm, it calms your team. But yeah, I'm competitive. I'll rally the troops when I need to rally the troops. I'll push them forward when I need to push them forward, and I'll hold them back when I need to hold them back. But yeah, I'm not walking around like it's game day all the time. I think I'd go crazy and be stressed out.
Just a quick follow-up to Sam's question about the true freshman. Is there any philosophical, I guess, incentive nowadays to keep those guys as engaged as possible to make sure from a player retention standpoint you have the same team from year to year?
That I can only answer for me and what I would do. I won't be playing freshmen because I want to appease them. I'm only playing guys that deserve the right to play, and that is done through competition. And we tell the guys all the time, your spot on the roster or your spot on the depth chart isn't owned; it's rented, and rent is due every day. And so the guys that compete and the guys that consistently show that we can trust them and that can make plays to win games at this level and in this conference, those guys will be on the field.
So you said you've seen every rep. You have a pulse. How would you compare some of the position groups and some of the players on this team to teams that you've coached in the past?
It's different. We're better in some areas. We're not as good in some areas, and the team as its entirety is its own team right now. I'm confident in our abilities, and I'm excited to watch these guys play. I'm excited to go compete with them on Saturdays. And I've got, like I keep saying it, but I've got all the confidence in the world in these guys because I've seen the way they work, I've seen the way they prepare, and I see the confidence that they have in each other.
Ryan, when you're evaluating your staff, how do you decide who's in the press box, and what is the importance of having the coordinators on the sideline with you?
Yeah, it's a discussion I've had with both coordinators just to divvy up, first from a legality standpoint on who is allowed on the headset and where they're allowed to be, and then depending on what certain coaches are looking at, what during the course of a game and what the coordinators need on each prospective side of the ball. That's how we've divvied up and decided who will be where.
Any more questions for Coach? All right, Coach, thank you. Appreciate it.
Appreciate it.